Hello and welcome to a new episode of Girls to Woman. And today's episode is called Girls, Contracts, and Confidence. Speaking of a hairstylist who turned into a real estate agent. And we have that very person with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me, Karima. My
Of
name is
course.
Christine Padilla, and yeah, um, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Of
And
course.
I heard, you've had like a long kind of like rough journey to get to where you are now. Would you like to, share a bit of what you went through kind of and
Sure.
a bit about your story?
Sure. So, life was not easy, as you know. I had two parents that passed away to cancer when I was very young. So, by the time I was 12 years old, I lost both of my parents. Um, we were a very close family one minute, and then the next minute it was like, what just happened? My dad died first. He had leukemia. Then my mother, apparently, while she was taking care of my father, um, she had breast cancer that was spreading, but she had no idea because she was too busy taking care of him. So they both passed away, and I was very lost, very just lost. And a lot of bad things happened after that. Homelessness, hunger, faced a lot of challenges, panic attacks, anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress syndrome. So, was not a very fun road for me. So,
Yes, it
life was
sounds like you
tough.
went through everything almost.
Yeah, life was very tough. So, yeah.
How were you able to like, pull yourself out of it? What was your kind of path forward?
So, no matter what happened, I always prayed. I always walked with God. I went to church and just kept asking and praying for guidance, for direction. Because again, being so young, it was like, you have your parents. I didn't know anything about life yet. So it was really scary. Um, and you realize not many not many people really cared. It was like I was this young girl on my own just trying to figure things out. And again, it was just really scary, very lonely. And I've seen some very dark times, but yeah, just walk with God and just day by day just try to figure things out the best that I can. I felt like I was in survival mode for just a very long time. And I had to grow up very quickly. And I really didn't have a childhood. I had to start working a couple different jobs just to like eat. And I had my own apartment at like 14 years old that I had to pay bills. And so, yeah, it
That sounds
was.
like, oh my God,
It
I
was
can't
rough.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
14, like thinking back to when I was 14, when I was 14, I don't even like,
yeah.
what was I doing? I was probably sitting, watching, some like shows. And I
Yeah.
was, I was actually doing that for sure in my bed
Yeah.
on the couch for a while. I remember that. But yeah, so thinking you had to find it, like, raise yourself and had enough like work so hard that you had to or were able to buy an apartment at that age is really kind of puts it into perspective specifically as to how like how expensive apartments are and living by yourself as well as all the extra fees that
Yeah. It was it's like you feel like you're in a dream or something. Like, is this happening? You have a nice family and your parents are there and life is good, and then the next minute you're like just thrown into this path that you have no choice but to. What else was I going to do? I just had to figure things out day by day. And yeah, so I end up in this really terrible apartment. It was awful, but it was like I said, I was young, and these little jobs weren't, you know, gonna give me a luxury apartment. So it was a terrible apartment. It was cold. It didn't have heat. It was bad. So it was bad. but it was a roof over my head, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, before that, it was I was would be walking the streets, figuring out where I'm gonna stay at times. Different family members would, not family members, I'm sorry, friends would take me in, not even my family. So, which was really heartbreaking. It was like they didn't want to deal with me. They didn't want anything to to really. I was troubled, so they didn't want to really deal with me. And some friends would take me in here and there, and yeah. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how long would you say it kind of like, or how long would you say you were kind of in that period for? Was it, was it like, were you able to get yourself out of it quickly, or did it take you a while? Because I know
no.
there could have been, you know,
I
uh-huh.
did not get out of it quickly at all, because it's like when you're going through these depression, panic attack, all the things that I was going through, my mindset, of course, was in a really bad place.
Yeah,
So I was just in a very negative place. I was very broken, very just, yeah, broken is all I can say. Um, and the more that your mindset is like that, as I'm sure you know, and you're thinking all these bad things and feeling all these bad feelings, I just kept attracting more of that to myself, more bad things, more, just because of the things that I was thinking about. Um, I had very bad anxiety, and I always thought I was sick. So, in my mind, because of what I watched with my parents, both of them were sick, and it scarred me so bad that I would just, you know, think, oh, that's going to happen to me. I have this, I have that. And hypochondriac. I became a hypochondriac. I was always thinking I was sick. I'm going to die young. And I was just in a very negative place. It was really bad. Um, so that went on for, unfortunately, a very long time, up until I think my late 30s,
oh wow,
with the
that's like a
with the
long
mental
period, yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, or did you find yourself like, it sounds like that took a while to get out of for sure, but how are you able to like, I heard you have been doing a lot better with, all that stuff and in general, like, career-wise as well. How did you sort of get out of that mental state? Because I
So
know,
the funny
yeah,
thing is, Karima, I did get into the beauty salon and things like that. I went on
mhm,
this journey, and I really loved, since I was young, like doing makeup, doing hair and things like that. And I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, where I belonged. And I later on in life, like I was dibbling and dabbling in hair, but I later on in life, I ended up going to beauty school. And it really made me feel good when I was behind the chair and making people look and feel beautiful. It helped me to feel better about myself, because I felt like I was helping other people, and just getting to know so many different people and hearing different stories. And I didn't feel alone, because when the more you meet people, everybody is going through something. And it just felt really good that I was able to start helping people. But anywho, the reason why I brought that up early on in this conversation is because I had to pay. What was I doing? I was getting ready to file taxes, and someone referred me to this accountant. I went to see the accountant, and at this time, I was having panic attacks on a daily basis, probably 5 to 6 times a day. When I was working and behind the chair, I would have a client in my chair, and I would have to literally stop what I was doing. I would have scissors in my hand, clippers in my hand, whatever I was doing. And I'd have to run in the back of the salon. I'm having a panic attack. My heart's pounding. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm not sure. Do I have to get to the hospital? It's that bad.
oh
And
wow,
then I'd have to get it some water, just calm myself down, and come back out like, hello, I'm sorry. I just had to take care of some. But someone referred me to this accountant. And when I went to see him, I sat down, he just talked to me a few minutes. I had some paperwork, and he said, "You're not here to file taxes." And I'm like, I'm so confused at this point. Like, what do you mean? What am I, what am I here for then? He said, "Are you going through something?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." What, but like, how do you know? And I didn't understand what was happening. And he said, "You have to be at my house tonight. I'm having a little get together with some really good friends, and I need you to be there." And I had a wedding that was supposed to be at the Eagle Stadium, and I had to do hair for a wedding. It was a very important event, and somebody flew in from California, so this was really big. And whatever reason, I felt like I had to be at this man's house, and I didn't know why. So I actually, I sent my staff to do the wedding. I was not there, and they were highly upset at me, the client. And I went to his house, and that's where I met your father. And yeah, I met your father. I met a few other people. And again, like, I'm now in my late 30s, so this has been
Yeah.
going on pretty much all my life. So I met your father, and I met another lady. And for some reason, I was drawn to the woman first. I didn't know anybody, but it was all like, different people in different fields and things. But I went over and I sat with the lady, and she said, we just talked a little bit, and she touched my hand and said, "Don't worry, be happy," which was something my mother said to me all the time. And I just started crying. And then I met your father, and he was just so humble, so kind, and your mother. And they invited me, like, I told them what was going on with me. And they said, "You need to come see me, your father." And I did. And when I started seeing your father and talking with your mother and this other woman who had a prayer group, um, and we started meeting, that's when my healing process began. And if it wasn't for them, and if it wasn't for that accountant inviting me, and I don't even know how, all I could say is it's like the universe, it's God, it's something that brought me to that accountant, because we don't even talk, or we didn't, but I still have a relationship with your mother and father. I still get
Yeah.
treated at your father's office. And that's where my healing your way, healed me. So, yeah. So that's, unfortunately, it was, late in life, but I'm glad it happened
Yeah.
then never. But if it wasn't for healing your way, I would probably still be a broken wreck. So,
Well, I'm very glad that you met them, and that it
yeah.
sounds like, you know, things are kind of like turning around, or they have turned around, which is really like great to hear, especially that, you know, my mom and dad specifically could really help. And they were very, happy to help always.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask, um, how did you sort of, you said that found an interest in hairstyling, and that's kind of how you got into it. I also heard, I personally went there, and you did a
You
great
did.
job. um, how did you sort of get into, having your own shop in, hairstyling and like beauty? How did you, how were you, one, able to start that, and then also maintain that and build your clientele that way for
Well,
your hairstylist?
well, one thing is, besides all the things that happen, I was always a fighter. I was always a very motivated and driven person. Even though I would be having a panic attack, but I'm still like, I feel like there's something I need to do. And when I see it and I feel it, I go for it. I don't care if I fail, but I will take the risk. And I was working in a hair salon, and I was being really mistreated. And, not everybody understands people who are going through these hard times or panic attack. They look at you like you're nuts, or they judge you. So I was
Yeah.
getting a lot of that in the salon that I was working at. And I just felt like I wanted my own salon. And at that time, I had no money. I had no family. I was just dreaming, basically. But I'm like, I really want a salon. And I helped a cousin of mine. He was actually battling addiction, but I always helped my aunt find him, rescue him. I did a lot um, with her, even though I was battling all my own things. I just kept helping her and running. When somebody's going through that, that's even worse.
Yeah.
But I was always there. And I went to the salon one day, and again, I don't know how God works, but it's just weird. But I went to the salon. I saw it said for rent, and I was passing by because I was being very mistreated at the salon. Passed by, it says for rent. I called the number. I don't know why, because I had no money. I didn't have anything. And I asked the lady if I could see the salon. She said, I'll be right over. I walked in and I'm like, oh, I really like this. And I was like, I could see myself in here. And I felt like I could be there. I don't know. It was weird. And I just left because I had no money. What was I going to do? And for some reason, I got a call from this cousin that I haven't spoke to in years, who actually was recovering, and said, um, "Did you want to get a salon?" And I was like,
Oh,
"What?" I was like, I actually just went to see one today." He was like, "Did you like it?" I said, "Yeah." And he was doing good at this point now. And he said, "Tell the lady you want it. I'm gonna meet you. Where do I have to go?" He came, met me, put the deposit down, and was like, "Here you go." And I was like, "What the world just happened?"
yeah. Wait, just out of nowhere, no
Out of
like
nowhere.
contact.
Yeah, it was weird. So now I have a building, but I have, again, no money. I have no furniture. I have
Yeah.
nothing in this building. And someone else came along um, and gave me a little loan and helped me and said, you could pay me back. And I was like, oh my God, this is just all coming together. And then I got in there and I just started hustling and giving flyers out. And I remember my first customer, it was an old lady, little old lady came in. It was around Christmas time, and she asked for a gift certificate. And I was so excited, like, oh my God, somebody came in my salon. It's my first customer. And after that, I just had passion for it. And I walked giving flyers and being on social media, and just kept going and going and going until I built up a clientele. I love what I was doing. So I think people, when you love what you're doing, they feel your passion.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it just, everyone who came in, they loved it. They actually would come in just to hang out and sit with me because they just loved the energy in my salon. And you've been there. It's,
Yeah.
um, but, and then it just went on from there, you know.
Mhm. And so, what made you kind of want to make this switch to real estate? What?
That was hard. So 26 years in the beauty industry, and I've done everything. I was an educator. I was a coloring specialist and educator for Paul Mitchell Companies. I did celebrity styling. I put so much money and education in that craft. And again, I just loved it. But I met my husband, who was a police officer, and he kept going to real estate classes, dragging me along. And at this time, I've been doing hair for a very long time, and my hands are starting to hurt. I'm getting older. I'm not a young chickadee anymore. Well, I am. In my heart, I am. But I just felt like it was time for change. After COVID hit, things started changing in the industry. it just felt like something happened around COVID time, and I just felt like I wanted something different, and I jumped into real estate with my husband. Still helping people though, so
Wow, sounds like that was actually like a really big switch. But
it was very hard. I
would
still like cry about it sometimes.
do you
I
enjoy real
miss it.
estate? Like I know you may not enjoy it as much. Um,
I I am a person. I am a people person. I love people. I love meeting new people and helping people. So I'm still able to do that, but I don't have the same joy that I did with hair when I was doing that. I just feel like that was just such a big part of me for 26 years. And I was very passionate about that. So it is different. I do like real estate, do like helping people, but it's not the same, no.
yeah, I I understand that. That makes Did
Yeah.
you ever did you have to sell your shop or do you still kind of run it? And also like are you kind of planning on maybe later doing some like hairstyling to the side or like just strictly real estate now?
It's so weird that like every day, like, I went to North Carolina, my husband and I, we started investing and we bought quite a few properties in North Carolina. So that's what brought us to North Carolina.
Yeah.
And when I'm over there every day, I'm like, we're like in the farmland, so there's really not much around us where we live right now. And I'm always like thinking, um, I need to highlight somebody's hair. I need to do somebody's hair. I wonder if there's anyone around here who would just volunteer. So that tells me a lot. Like I really miss it and I'm really passionate still about it. And I feel like I would like to do it maybe on the side sometime,
Yeah, of
figure
course.
something out. But
Do
I
you
just think about it all the time. Like, oh, maybe somebody will let me just do their hair.
I mean, it sounds like it was like definitely such a like a big passion and also part of your like almost like a part of your life at that point. So like switching it out, for or having to, drop that and go into real estate after sounds like, almost like a big part of your life is gone now. Which
Yeah.
how long were your like hours a day for hairstyling?
Now that's the other thing. Um, so I had three different salons.
Oh wow.
So like there was times my salon before like COVID, it started getting wonky. But before that, I had a very thriving three salons and where I switched around through, all three of them. And they would be very busy. Sometimes I would be there till midnight.
Oh my
And
god.
I never got tired of it. And I could work till midnight and still just leave happy, even though my feet hurt and I was tired. But I just had so much fun doing it and I really loved it. So,
Yeah.
but it would be long hours, but I didn't mind it.
I guess it was like, the fulfillment of like doing something you love for so many hours.
Yeah,
And like,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
They say when you love what you do, it's like you're not working at all. And that's how I always
Right.
felt when I was doing hair. Yeah.
And would you recommend like other people like, to follow the same path as like, following something you love? Kind of. Would you say that's a good idea?
I I know that even me myself, like trying I was trying to get my, I have kids, so I was first trying to get them be in the salon with me, do hair, you should be a hairstylist. And they're like they would do it for a little bit and they were trying, but it was like, Mom, that's not what I want to do. Now I'm like, come on, get into the real estate. You need to get into the real estate because I see, what could happen if you get into the real estate, or can happen if you're a business owner and you're not working for someone else. But at the end of the day, um, you have to love what you do. You can't do what your parents want you to do. You can't follow what someone else wants. Like you have to be happy because you're the one who's going to be living it. You're the one who's going to be doing the work. and you want to be happy with what you're doing
Yeah.
because it just makes a big difference and you will feel, fulfilled. But if you're doing what somebody else wants you to do and it's not your happiness, it's someone else's, or someone else's dream, or you have to do what you love at the end of the day. I
Right.
see it that way.
And there's a question for you. It says, what is your recommendation for women to do hairstyling or real estate?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, here's let me say this. This is the thing I love about real estate. When I was doing hair and I had my shop, I missed out on so many things for my children because I had to be in that salon all day every day. And when my kid had an event, I had to be in the salon because I own that business and I have to be there for the clients. In real estate, I could be on the beach, I could be wherever I want to be and just work off of my laptop and have all the time for my kids, my grandkids, or whoever needs me, the important things. So that's what I love about real estate is that I can make money, I can help people, but I'm not stuck somewhere. I can be wherever I want to be and I'm free.
Yeah. So it's kind of like y- mainly like kind of like the hours you would say is like probably the biggest concern or difference between both
Yeah,
almost.
it's like I just feel so free that like if I don't want to go to work today, I still can work, but I'm right in my sofa in my pajamas if I'm not feeling it that day.
Right.
Or if, like my daughter needs me or my son needs me, I can be there. But if I have to go to if I have the salon, like I have to be there and the clients come first. And it shouldn't be that way. My family should be first, my kids should be first. So that's what I like about real estate. And um when you're in a 9 to 5 also, your money is limited what you can make. And
Right.
when you're
Yeah.
in real estate, it's like, you know, you can make whatever you want to make. So it's up to you and how hard you work and how much you want to work. So, you know, that's the
Um,
difference.
that sounds, I guess like that sort of is more like dependent on person to person, I guess, and
Mhm.
versus like a set answer like, oh, you should do this because of this and this. But it sounds like they both kind of have their, you know, pros and cons, I
And
guess.
both of them, like when you're a business owner in real estate and even the hair salon, when you own your business, like my daughters are like, I don't know how you do it. They prefer to be, well, my oldest daughter, for instance, she prefers a 9 to 5. She's like, I show up, I do my job, I leave, and I get paid. The work is there. Real estate and the hair industry, you have to like really work hard and hustle to get your clients.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you don't go working, and you have to go look for your money. So where 9 to 5, your money is there. But real estate and hair, you have to find the clients and you have to every day like make calls, look for people. So it's a little harder, there, but some
Was
people
it?
don't want to do that.
Would you say it's like dependent on your advertisement kind of yourself, or like your marketing process, and like what did that look like for you, kind of getting started into both jobs?
Well, one thing about me, like I like to be on social media. So even for like when I started in the hair industry, I was always on social media and I like to do that, so it doesn't bother me, but it's very important. You have to market yourself. You have to brand yourself. Um, and you have to be consistent with it because if you're not, nobody knows you're there. If you're not visible and people aren't seeing you every day, there's so many people out here doing hair, there's so many people doing real estate. So you have to stay top of the mind and you have to be visible. So
You gotta like
you
make
have to
yourself
do the
stick
work.
out.
You have to stand out and you have to be unique. because, like I said, even in the hair industry, I had about on one of the salons I had, there was like three other shops. And, some of those people would get very upset because my salon was very busy. But I was out walking, giving flyers, putting flyers on cards, going in businesses, marketing on social media. And you have to do that if you want to have clients.
Right, you gotta like you have to put in the work. A
Hmm.
lot, definitely a lot more work versus as you were saying, like a normal maybe 9 to 5 that where you don't sort of have to look for your own clients.
Yeah.
And
And once you do that, once you put in the work, and then they'll start coming. But you have to make a name for yourself. You have to be
yeah,
visible and build your clientele. And once you do, but
and
just put the work in the beginning.
and then it'll like get a lot easier, would you say, or is it still like, hard like now?
It gets easier, but like I said, some people they're like, I don't know why I don't have a client. I don't know why. But what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like your dad, I'm sure look at him. He's amazing. And you have to be, and it has to be about the client, you know.
right.
You have to be good to the client. You have to really care about people. And your dad, the prime example, when I walk in, like every time I go, no matter what's going on, he has a smile on his face. He's kind, he's humble, and it makes you want to come back to that person. You feel good with them, and you trust them. Because when he started putting them pins in me, I was scared to death. Ask him, I was like, what are you doing? Especially somebody with anxiety. I'm like, but made me so comfortable, and he cared, he listened, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be bothering you for the rest of your life. I'm going to be.
So you're saying it's not even just like, putting yourself out there in the first place. It's like keeping up almost with what you put out and keeping those clients. And would you say keeping the clients is harder than, initially bringing them in? Or would you say the other way around, kind of, that like the first step isn't as hard as keeping them?
It depends. I mean, it is a little work up front, like getting the clients in, but also, yeah, like keeping them, because you can get a client, and I've made those mistakes. You get a client, and I've messed up sometimes, and I didn't do the right thing, or maybe the communication, I didn't stay, on top of the client like I should have, and different things. I've made some mistakes, and you have to learn along the way. If you don't learn, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
you just have to keep learning. We have to fail forward, so you have to just go along and make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and just try to be better the next day. And you know that's and if you do that and you learn from your mistakes, then you're going to be better, and you'll keep your clients. But if you're messing up, you're doing the wrong thing, you don't have the right intentions, people feel that. So you just have to really care about the client, most
And
importantly.
there's another question for you. It says, looking back at your journey, did you ever think you would be here now?
Not at all. Coming from homelessness, hunger, and there was so much more behind it was a lot more that I didn't get into. But no, sometimes I didn't even feel like I was gonna make it out of those times. Those days were so hard. Sometimes I didn't even want to be here anymore because it was just so rough. It was really bad. And to be in the position I am now, it feels really good. I'm proud of myself. And most importantly, I want to tell women who are listening, like, not sometimes, like me, I didn't have many people supporting me. So I didn't love myself. I didn't care about myself. I had to learn to love myself. I had to learn to be my own fan, my own cheerleader. And Some people don't like that, but I had to, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of where I came from, who I am today, because I never thought I would have been here. I never thought I would have been a salon owner, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a broker, a realtor in 4 states, a top producer. Um, so I never, no, I never would have thought I was here. An investor, property, I own properties. Um, and I'm just glad now that, um, yeah, sometimes I stumble. That's my issue. I get so nervous and not nervous, but when you start thinking about all these things, it's like, holy crap. But you just have to keep going, stay focused, let the past go, try to heal, and think better days will come. Love yourself and have the right mindset. So I know I jump around because there's so much that needs to be said, and I get mixed up with things. But you know,
No, but
did I answer?
that's
Did I answer the question?
no, yeah, you definitely answered the question. You answered it really well.
I
And
hope I.
I also wanted to ask, I know you were also a mom throughout all of this, on top of, starting a business as well as, all of the other things going on in your life. How did that like, affect the process? Was it like harder? Was it easier in some ways? How did you work through it?
Being a mom and being a business owner.
Yeah.
So, I was a single mom for a long time, and I had my salon. So, actually, it was kind of nice because when I had the salon, I had my kids with me there at times. Even though, like I said, I missed a lot of things, outside things, when I had school events, but they got to come to the salon with me. My kids grew up in the salon, and that part of it was nice because it was my own business. And I worked hard for my kids to take care of them because I was a single mom. I didn't have family. I didn't have anybody. Like, if I fell, I didn't have a security net, a safety net. So I always live like that. I still do. Like, if I don't do it, I don't depend on anybody for anything. I just know that it's me, and I have to do it. I have to make things happen. And I always live like that. And thank God my kids are the same way because of watching me. But it was always only me. So if it didn't come from me and I didn't work for it, we didn't eat. We didn't pay the bills. So I had no choice. And, you know, but having my own business, I was able to have my kids around me. And I didn't have a babysitter. They were in the salon, they were running around or doing their homework there. And, we made it through. So that's the important part.
Would you say it's easier to like, I guess, have a relationship with your kids now that you have more time in general, or would you say it's still kind of, hard considering how you have to also build yourself as a real estate agent as well?
Well, like I said, my kids are grown now,
Yeah.
so it's easier now. My my baby is going to be 17 and graduating high school early. I'm proud of him, I must say, because he's top of his class and he's able to graduate. He's supposed to graduate next year, but he's graduating. I mean, he's graduating next year, but in December instead of June. And I'm gonna be an empty nester, and I'm not even gonna know what to do with my darn self. Like, you know. Um, but did I answer that question for you?
Yeah, no, you answered the
I
question.
did. I always get lost in my words, so please
No,
forgive
I do the
me.
same thing.
But yeah, sometimes I don't know where I'm going with things. But yeah, I'm gonna be an empty nester, and I don't know. My son wants to go into the Air Force. My
Oh,
girls are
wow.
grown, and we have good relationships. Sometimes we argue, sometimes it's good, sometimes, we have our moments, but we all love each other and, you know,
Yeah,
I'm there for them. So
it's
I
it's
have more free time
oh yeah, true.
doing real
Yeah.
estate. So
How I don't believe I ever asked, but what does your day kind of look like as a real estate agent? And like what are your kind of hours and stuff? And or maybe when you have a client versus when you don't have a client.
my life is very hectic, very busy. I thought at this age I would be much more settled down, but I feel like it got even though, like I said, I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I'm licensed in 4 states. I have I have clientele in Pennsylvania, but I live in North Carolina. So I'm traveling back and forth because my kids are in Pennsylvania. And so I'm kind of juggling a few states. So that's a little hectic. But as a realtor, so North Carolina, when I'm there, I wake up, I take my son to school, I go to the gym, I do my meditation, and then I start my lead generation. At times I'm in the office, at times I'm working from home, I'm showing houses, I'm going to classes. I'm always educating myself, and I'm just trying to have a good time along the way. So, meeting with clients, it's a lot. There's a lot of things to do in real estate. So,
Do
meeting
you think
clients, showing
um,
homes.
I was gonna ask you, think you're gonna, somehow try to expand your business like a lot more, or you still like planning on staying within like a certain area?
So, I'm licensed New Jersey, Pennsylvania, North and South Carolina. So, I am working on growing the team in Pennsylvania, and I will be growing the team in North Carolina. So my daughter is on my team, Sienna. My other daughter is working on passing her test, and I have some others that are joining. And in North Carolina, I already started working on that. I have some people joining me shortly. Again, most people are working on the test. The test is not very easy. It's a little complicated, but I am working on building those teams in both states.
And how
Those
long?
are my goals.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Um,
Fine.
sorry, I feel like I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Um, I also had a question. How long was the course that kind of allowed you, how long did it take you to get your license is kind of what I'm asking.
So the course, I went to Temple. That's where I started. I went to Temple. The course is really not that long. I think mine was about 4 or 5 months or so. There's much shorter courses. You do need a certain amount of hours. That's mandatory. Once you get your hours in, then you're able to go take your state test. However, some people need more help than others. Real estate was completely new to me. I knew nothing about it, so I needed more help, more studying. And I passed my test on Valentine's Day. I did not pass it on the first try. Took me a couple times. Um, and then once I did, it was really hard for me. It was like frustrating. And from what I hear, a lot of people give up, or a lot of people, it takes them quite a few times to pass that test. So that was pretty difficult for me. But then once I got started and I started seeing what I can do with it, then I was like, started getting licensed in a couple other states, and you know, but
How,
it can take a little bit. Depends on the person. You're young and very smart, and your brother, so it won't take you guys long if you wanted to do that.
and what's like the earliest age you can become one? Because I know, um,
18.
yeah, that sounds like would you recommend it to, younger people to start as something on the side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, like your brothers, I pulled them in as well. I know they've been studying or, interested in it. And I know they're very smart as well, and they'll be able to do it fairly easy. But if you even have a career, this is something you can definitely just do on the side if that's what you want to do to make extra money. And again, because you don't have to be in an office, you can just do it on the side. So, say, your business, Healing Your Way, your parents' business, and you guys are a part of it. Just by meeting people, you could say, "Hey, I'm also a realtor," and just by easing that into your conversation, you never
Yeah.
know. You know how many times I was in the salon because I had a dual career. You know how many times I was in the salon and just doing hair and like I just would, purposely just mention real estate
It's like
and
slide in a
then
little bit.
and someone would be like, "Oh, you're a realtor?" "Why, yes, I am." "Oh, I want to buy a house." "Well, perfect. You found a realtor. I would love to help you." So it goes like hand in hand and you can make extra money from it. So if you don't want to do it full time.
And that
But absolutely, I recommend it.
and yeah, my brothers were telling me like they were also, taking the course, I believe. And they
Yeah.
said like some parts weren't so bad, some parts were a little harder, but um they were able to kind of work through it while also doing other stuff at the same time, which shows just how like that sounds like a really good idea specifically,
Yeah.
as without having a job at first, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
um
It's something like you don't have to go to school for a
right.
very long time. It's a short course. And like I said, you guys are really smart. And when you're younger, it's much easier. Your brain works a lot better. But, so do it. Why not?
Right. And I also wanted to ask, how did you get your first client as like for real estate?
Trying to think who was my first client. I'm pretty sure it was I'm trying to think who was my first client. Pretty sure it was my husband's family. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was my husband. So it was one of our investment properties, and he was like, "This is going to be your first sale," and I messed up like so many things, and he yelled at me. Um, but I did my best, and I got it sold fairly quickly, so it wasn't that bad. But like I said, you realize once you're out of the deal, like, oh my God, all the things that you did wrong and could have done better. But each deal is like that. I still make mistakes. I still think afterwards, oh my God, I could have done this better. And I'm still learning and growing every day. So we're not perfect. We're human beings and we just keep working at it.
Yeah. And I also heard that you have a podcast as well.
Ah, so,
How is that going?
so, with a lot of I'm very spiritual. I pray a lot and I always sit and I kind of talk to God. And if you listen, he actually talks back to you. And that people whatever may say that's crazy, but he definitely talks back in different ways. So I wanted to find out, what is this all about? All these things that I have went through. What is it all about? And what it came down to is I feel like I have a story to tell. I'm very experienced because I went through so many things at a young age. And I know there's so many people right now who are experiencing things that I have already went through. So I felt like I have a story to tell. I need to help women. That's what my brand is about, Deals and Heals. I want to empower women who may be where I once was, um, and just bring them all the people like your family on my podcast, people who have helped me, who have healed me, helped me to heal, who have poured into me. I want to share those people with other women who need it. And I want to keep telling my story and telling, my journey and keep helping people. So there's always somebody in the room who needs to hear it, and it touches
Right.
someone. So I, it's Deals and Heels podcast, empowering women. Um, and I'll have you on there as well.
Thank you very much.
And your dad and your mom. Because you all do something differently and you all have something to share and you're all amazing. I love you all. You're the kind. I just have to say that, I come and I go to their house, I hang out with their family. They've accepted me crazy and all the way I am, and they're just the kindest people. Her father is so amazing. He's an acupuncturist. He's healed me. He's healed so many things. um, Her mother is the sweetest person. She hears all my stories. She never judges me, and she always gives me the best advice. And their children are so mannerly, so polite, and just amazing human beings. And I love being around them. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. We love having you over as well. By the way,
You're
um,
all amazing.
I also had a question. Do you feel like being a woman kind of shaped some of your experiences, and do you also feel like it, made it harder in a way, or maybe made it easier? Like, what do you feel? Sort of that.
I've always felt like the man. I've always been the worker. I've always been the money maker, the worker. I I know that's crazy, but I always feel like I've played the man's role, being a mother and father to my kids. But yeah, as a woman, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I feel like I played the man's role most of my life, honestly. But I am a woman and I'm here to help other women. That's my goal. That's my journey. I want to empower women. The Deals and Heels, the heel represents the power of a woman. And that's what I'm out to do. And not everybody wants to hear my story. People are tired of hearing my story. I don't care. I want to keep sharing it. And I want to keep empowering and helping as many women as I can.
Well, your story is first of all, very interesting. Second of all, very inspirational, especially how you powered through like everything. You were at the bottom. You kind of brought yourself up by yourself, especially at like such a young age,
Yeah,
which especially I I don't know how you did it, but I
it's hard.
yeah, you uh definitely went through a lot. And I would like to ask, do you have like a final sort of message for all, like, the women listening, all the viewers listening, like some sort of advice or anything?
Yeah, just the most important thing is I've learned it's mindset. Mindset is everything. And whatever you are thinking about, ladies, gentlemen, that's what you're attracting to yourself. And when I was in a low place, my mind was in a low place. And the more I thought about the bad things and this is happening and this bad thing is happening, the more it just kept happening. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And I read the book, The Secret, and that changed my life. When I read that book, which I had to read it over and over and over, and I still have it and I still read it when I have to remind myself. That book changed my life because your thoughts are things, and whatever you think about is what you're attracting to yourself. So if you want good things, think about good things. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you want a good man, if you want a good job, if you, whatever you want, think about those things and focus on the good things. If you think about, oh my God, I'm having a bad day, all this, you're just bringing, and we're made of energy, you're just bringing more of that to yourself. Read The Secret. I used to give that any woman that came in my salon and would be going through something, I would give them that book as a gift. I've given many clients that book. So read The Secret, and everything in life is about mindset. So work on your mindset, and everyone deserves happiness, love, and greatness. And That's all I have to say. We all deserve good things. We all deserve joy and to be happy and to be loved, no matter what, if we're crazy or whatever. And Paul Mitchell, when I was teaching, they always said, because there's a lot of judgmental people out here.
Yeah.
And when you're going through things, you find who really loves you, who really cares about you. Because the ones who don't care about, see all the flaws in you and they still love you and they still want to be around you, those are your people, like your mother. I'll be batshit crazy, excuse me, but she'll still go along with me and support me in my craziness. And then there's others who are like, oh God, and don't be near her. And stay away from those people. Paul Mitchell, they always said, play with those who want to play with you, and those who do not, be careful who you give your time to. Give your time to people who value you, who love you, and who have you in front of your back. I mean, in front of you, behind your back, and are true to you. And if people are not, don't even give them your time. So
Well, thank you so much for coming on and like sharing your amazing stories and
you're
all your
very
advice as
welcome.
well. And
You're
where
welcome.
else can people find you? Like maybe on social media,
I am on
your
Facebook.
podcast?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I am on YouTube, Deals and Heels, Christine Padilla. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So you'll find me, Christine Padilla, Deals and Heels, PA Realtor, North Carolina Realtor. I'm everywhere.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank you for
thank you all for
having me.
watching as well. Um,
You.
you were an amazing guest, and
Yeah, I
thank
hope
you for
so.
everything.
I'm
But
I'm always stuttering and all over, but I hope
no, no, no.
you feel my heart. And I'm not perfect. I'm not the best speaker, but I hope you feel my heart and something resonated with you and I was helpful in some way.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.